So we're gonna do a review. Like I said, we're gonna review some of your last year's stuff. You're gonna be using. Shh, I start, you stop. Shh. So this is multiplying polynomials by monomials. So you did this in Math 100 last year, but we need to review it because we're going to be using these skills for the rest of the semester. And so to make sure that you keep it sharp, and my pencil seems to be very dead. It's going to be a problem. So when we multiply variables with exponents on that first line, which I can't show you, x to the m times x to the n, where it says product exponent rule, what we're doing is we just add the exponents. So like in the example, if I have x to the fourth times x to the sixth, what do I end up with? What do I do with these two numbers? What does x to the fourth times x to the sixth become? We just add those exponents. So that becomes x to the 4 plus 6 equals x to the 10th. That's all we're doing, is going through, and then we're remembering the distributive property, where if I have, you draw your little whoop-de-whoops or your arrows to show that you multiply both things. So if I have 2 times x minus 5, that becomes 2 times x, and 2 times minus 5. So that's 2x, where I multiply the first two, and then 2 times a negative 5 is negative 10. And then I can't combine terms because one has a variable and one does not. So we're just reviewing this. You will have formatives like we've been doing after every objective to make sure that you remember how to do this. And then we will go on from there. So to multiply a polynomial by a monomial, poly means many. Ladies, monomial means one. So there's one term here. Even if there's something else, like when they get variables down here, one term. And poly means many. So this one has 2, this one has 3. So poly just means more than one. So when we do this, we just multiply the monomial by each. Actually, let's not use multiply. Let's use the word distribute. That works better because that's what we're doing. We distribute the monomial to each term in the polynomial. So that's all we're doing, is we're going to go through and take that 7 for number 1 and multiply it by everything in the parentheses. So I'm going to break it down really basic. So if you can do past this, that's fine. But I want to at least explain the very basics so that we can get this all the way through. So the first thing is I'm going to multiply 7 times g squared. So that's 7 times 1 g squared plus 7 times 5g minus 21. That's where I did each term times the 7. So then when we simplify it, that's 7g squared plus 35g minus 21. I can't combine any terms. I have a g squared, a g, and a constant, so that's as far as I can go.
35g?
35g, because 7 times 5 is 35. So remember, we're multiplying the coefficient, the number in front of the variable, times the other coefficient, and then we add the exponents.
Where did we get the 21?
7 times negative 3. So this first one is negative 5 times 3. Shh, stop talking. And then I have negative 5 times positive 6. So that's negative 5 times 6, A3. So negative 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, A to the 4th, plus, and actually I'm going to erase that plus because I have negative 30, A cubed. So again, we're multiplying the coefficients, the negative 5 and the positive 3, times A to the 4th, and then negative 5 times positive 6 becomes negative 30, and then we multiply the constants. So how does that change when we have an exponent on our variable outside? So I've got 3m times 5m squared. So first, I have 3 times 5, because I'm going to multiply the coefficients, but then I have m1 plus 2. And then we do it again. 3 times 2, and then I have m1 plus 1. These are the variables that go here. So that then I write 15 m 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 6 m 1 plus 1 is 2. I'm just showing you and reminding you where you get your variables from, where you get your new exponents, how they change. So this one we're going to multiply negative 5y cubed times y squared. So that's negative 5 times 1. And then I have y3 plus 2. Because whatever the exponents are, we multiply. Plus negative 5 times 6. y3 plus 1. And the last one, negative 5 times negative 8, y3. So then we're going to go through and combine like terms, or multiply through. So that's negative 5y5 minus 30y4 plus 40y3. Okay. When we write polynomials, we do a couple things. We put them in alphabetical order. That's going to apply to our x's and y's here in a second. So that it's always going to be xy. So if I have to rearrange it, that's okay. And we put them in descending order. So it's x squared, then x, then nothing. So when we start this, this is 3 times 1, so it's 3. X1, 1x and 2x is x cubed, and then y. Everybody see how I did that? So as I do this, 3 times 1, that's where the 3 comes from. X and 2x is x3, and then 1 and nothing is just 1. So then we do the next term. 3 times negative 2, that's negative 6. X and x is x squared. Y and y is y squared. And then we do the last one. 3 times 1 is 3. And the x doesn't have anything else, but then I have 1y and 2y's, so it's y3. Next one. That's an x and a y, so there are nothing to multiply or combine. I'm just going to put them in the proper order. So 2 negatives makes a positive, and then I have x5 y squared, because we put them in alphabetical order. The next one, negative and a positive, is a negative 3xy5. Negative and a negative is a positive 2y9. The last two problems have us multiplying and then combining like terms, because this is two separate things that I have to add together. So I have to distribute separately and then combine like terms. So first we're going to do the first one. So 8x and an x squared, that's 8x3. And then 8 and a negative 3 is negative 24x. But then I have to do this second one separately. So this is plus x4 minus x5x3 plus 4x squared. And then we have to look at which ones we need to combine. So the only two like terms I have are x to the third, but then I need to put it in descending order. So x to the third is not my largest term. My largest term is x to the fourth. So I took care of that one. And then I have an 8 minus 5. So that's a positive 3x cubed. So then I've taken care of that one. And then plus 4x squared and minus 24x. So it's in descending order, and I've combined all my like terms. The same thing is true for this one. There's a distribute there, and then I'm going to add something here, so I need to do it separately. So negative times a positive, that's negative 2y cubed, and a negative times a negative is plus y. And then we do this one, 2 times y squared. That's plus 2y cubed. Somebody stop FaceTiming. 2 times negative y, that's negative 2y squared. Notice I'm not subtracting that y. It's multiplying. And then 2 times a positive 1 is plus 2y. Oops, 2y, not squared. So again, when I combine like terms, there's a y that I need to combine, and there's a y cube I need to deal with. So negative 2y cubed and positive 2y cubed, what do those do? Those cancel. Because one's negative and one's positive, that's 0. So then we have negative 2y squared. And then I have plus y plus 2. So that's plus 3y.